Hey there, I go by Zephysis. You found my channel, and thanks for checking out one of my videos. Like and subscribe at the end if you like what you saw. I'll be uploading more videos in the future. Let's check out this video together. Life isn't fair. At times, it can even be cruel. We come to terms with this fact by embracing our fragility. We write songs, poems, and plays illustrating the tragedy of life. Everything considered, we are exceptionally good at dealing with this fact. But how much suffering can one take without breaking? When we break, do we rise back up or descend into hell? It depends on the individual. Some suffer and transcend. Some are broken and are never again the same. Some become monsters. Ophelia ranks number 4 in the Claymore organization. She's a strong, fast, and intelligent warrior. She's also sadistic and hollow, seemingly void of empathy or love. It's not difficult to see why when you look deeper into her past. Ophelia experienced life cruelty at a young age. When Ophelia was just a child, she and her older brother were attacked by Priscilla, an awakened being. Her older brother sacrifices himself to buy time so Ophelia may escape. Left alone and in despair, Ophelia lives her life projecting her pain onto anyone unfortunate enough to cross her path. She resents her older brother for sacrificing himself and leaving her alone in such a harsh world. Ophelia's purpose in life is to track down and kill Priscilla and every last awakened being. During her first encounter with Claire, Ophelia is downright oppressive and hostile. She takes Claire's legs and plays a game with Rocky's life, all while an extremely dangerous awakened being patiently watches and waits for his next victim. Her twisted, sadistic nature is on full display. Claire manages to use her incredible speed to help her and Rocky escape. Ophelia and the awakened being are left alone to battle. Ophelia feigns death and ultimately defeats the being. Just before Ophelia delivers the final blow, the being tells her that she's the monster here. During her second encounter with Claire, Ophelia is once again merciless. Unleashing her rippling sword technique, Claire is no match against her, as she becomes desperate. Claire purposely lets Ophelia cut off her arm, then Claire falls off a cliff into a river with hopes of escaping. Ophelia isn't fooled and follows her downstream, where she destroys Claire's severed arm and cuts off her other hand. Victory is all but final for Ophelia when Elena unexpectedly arrives and saves Claire from her fate. Elena's quicksword technique is too much for Ophelia, who experiences defeat for what is most likely only the second time in her life. As Ophelia tastes defeat and watches Claire escape a second time, something stirs in her. All of her rage and past trauma comes to a head, and she surpasses her Yoki limit and awakens. In the final encounter with Claire, Ophelia is an awakened being, yet she doesn't seem to realize what she has become. Ophelia surprises Claire in the woods after she leaves Elena's home. In her astonishment, Claire says Ophelia's name, and then says, "An awakened being," aloud, referring to Ophelia. "What, do you see one? Where is it? I didn't catch its scent," Ophelia replies. Ophelia is oblivious to her transformation, at least at first. Their third fight moves into a lake as Ophelia goes on the offensive. On the surface of the lake, Ophelia sees what she has become. This moment may be the first time Ophelia recognizes her own insanity. Ophelia finally understands why her brother died smiling. As he died protecting her, he knew she would make it out and live. However, the trauma she experienced warped her mind and her reality forever. Her resentment towards her brother and her hatred for Priscilla turned Ophelia into a heartless monster of her own making. Allowing herself to be blinded by her resentment and hatred, she becomes that which she hates most. Her life post-becoming a Claymore has been one long cry for help. It's fitting because the etymology of Ophelia comes from the Greek word for help, Ophelios. Ophelia encourages Claire to cut her down to prove that she is strong enough to face Priscilla. Ophelia asks Claire what will become of the people she would leave behind if she fails. It's clear that not only does Ophelia want to die, but she wants Claire to be the one that ends her life and Priscilla's. She's entrusting Claire with her will. Ophelia makes it clear she won't forgive Claire if she fails. Claire doesn't fail. She surpasses her limitations and strikes Ophelia down. Ophelia's tragic life comes to an end. As she sinks into oblivion, Ophelia is remorseful but finally at peace. The tragedy of Ophelia is a warning to us all. It's a story about how resentment will consume us and turn us into monsters if we're not careful. Processing our past trauma and being in touch with our shadow selves is an effective way to not let resentment spiral into something worse. We must transmute resentment into gratefulness, or at least something like it. We could be grateful for the things that made us who we are today, even if they were negative. It's a choice you have to make. It's not easy, and there are not many logical reasons to even bother trying, except for this. If we do not transcend resentfulness, it leads us into hell. Thanks for watching.